welcome to our beloved parishioners. I'm Bailey.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Praise Be to Pod. Thank you so much for joining us. Ashley, what's on your heart?
I'm having an interpersonal struggle with the use of AI.
Yeah.
I know it's evil. I know that the people who own it are evil and contributing to things that I don't agree with. But it's so helpful.
Yeah.
So, I'm in the middle of kind of starting my own business, and I lean on AI for that a lot. Some of the skills I'm not as good at, like writing, I can do it, but I'm not great at it. And AI helps so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's evil.
Yeah, I am torn between that too. I still occasionally do use ChatGPT, and I don't think it's probably good that I do. But it has been a very helpful resource for me.
I know.
And also the environmental impact is pretty bad.
Really bad.
And I also have a lot of concerns with data and privacy related to it, among other things. It's certainly not the only loophole, but I don't know. I don't know.
Is Claude any better?
I don't know. I don't
get a lot of very aesthetically pleasing ads for Claude.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I will say I think that when they first rolled out ChatGPT, it was a lot better than it is now.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon to release a great product and then roll back the quality a little bit to get people to pay more. And it's pretty noticeable. I would say,
Yeah.
It makes a lot of mistakes, a lot more than it used to. So yeah, I don't know if Claude is better or if it's not.
What do you think, Jacob? Do you use AI?
I detest AI so much. I've never used ChatGPT. I never will. I do think of myself as better than people who use AI.
I would say that you are,
frankly.
actually.
Yes, I've used it as a tool with I don't do it with writing or anything with my personal stuff, but sometimes for editing, if it's for the podcast, it'll see the sound waves or the waveforms. It'll be okay, cut to this person when they're speaking.
Yeah.
Versus me going through and making each and every single one of those cuts. Granted, like you said, it makes mistakes though sometimes, but that's kind of the only time I use it, and for getting rid of noise and grain in movies I make sometimes. But generative AI, I'm fully against it. I've gone into fights with my friends about it. And I always win, of course. But
of course.
I mean, you are correct. There is a moral purity to your stance. I wouldn't argue with you. I think you are better than everyone else, and you are self-righteous. And
can I get that on a loop?
You're the editor. See if AI can find where I said
it.
There
you go.
It's do I just need to take some writing courses instead?
I think so. For me, when I use chat more, which is not all the time, but when I do use it, my writing gets weaker.
Yeah.
The more I rely on it. So it honestly, you probably if you want to write more, you just need to write more.
Just need to keep writing.
Yeah. And I do I love taking classes at the Loft Literary Center in Minneapolis. So I think a writing class would be good, but writing is one of those things that you don't have to wait to do. You can do it right now.
Yeah.
We could stop recording this episode right now and you can start writing.
I have so much writing to do all the time. That's the problem is I'm so slow, and I'm used to being so fast with design. I don't know how to be that slow.
I will say writing is slow.
It's so slow.
So even I can't
watch a movie while I'm writing like I do when I'm designing.
Right. When I did design with my job too, I definitely preferred doing the design because it took up a lot. It took a lot less out of me. And writing is all encompassing. It takes a long time. It's highly criticized. I mean, so is design, but I think people maybe flock to criticize writing more.
Well, and they can say this is correct or this is incorrect, grammatically, things like that drive me crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what's on my heart. What about you?
So I have been talking to my cousin lately, and she has a really strong gift of discernment. She's very good at, her intuition is very good at picking up on whether or not a situation is good or bad, or if people have poor intention or if they're good people or whatever. And I feel like I don't have very good person to person intuition. Like I can read a scenario, but I let a lot of icky people slip through the cracks. I try to believe the best in people, and also my intuition just doesn't pick up on it. So I want to start developing my intuition more. And so I think I'm going to start getting more into witchcraft, which is the only way I know how to do anything. But I might kind of be hindering my spiritual gifts by trying to be more palatable. And so sometimes I'll meet someone and they are rubbing me the wrong way, but my brain sees it as a little challenge to almost take control of the situation and bring it back versus just letting them be weird and watching them self-destruct.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's something I've been thinking about because I think that I probably hinder my intuition a little bit by trying to take back the situation with charisma or something.
How do you explore witchcraft?
I think you buy books and do the spells in them. I have there's a Slavic witchcraft book I'd like to use. You have to be Slavic apparently to do it, or the spells can backfire.
Are you?
Yes. So that's something I was thinking about, but some of the spells do involve blood sacrifice, so I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But yeah.
Have you seen The Craft?
No.
Okay, maybe you should watch it.
Okay.
Doesn't go well.
Maybe I will. Oh, it doesn't go well.
No. Have you seen
that sounds like
Practical Magic?
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah. No, I have. It was a while ago, but I have seen it.
I saw it for the first time recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the fashion, great. Sandra Bullock, perfect.
She was, I mean, she still is very beautiful. I think that she is one of the most beautiful 90s women out there. I just love it. Yep.
Just a girl next door.
Yeah, she was a girl next door. No, I agree.
Okay. We have hot heresy today. Do you have any hot takes?
I do. And I know people are going to get mad at me with this. I don't understand why everyone is so mad with Timothée Chalamet. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, I do want to clarify that the only thing that has happened so far, because we record our episodes far in advance, and if in between now and then he does something like say a slur, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the comments he made about the ballet and the opera. So he doesn't like ballet and opera. Why is that such a big deal? He was just saying that it's an art that is not being consumed as regularly as high budget film, and he has a preference towards being in something that has a lot of visibility. And so he is gravitating towards that versus the ballet or the opera that has less like audience, which is objectively true. Why is that offensive?
I think it's offensive because he is of like the utmost privilege right now. And he's at like the height of his career and he's punching down.
Okay. Yeah.
Like these people are working their ass off to be like, just to honor the trade that they love, even though they know they'll never make as much money than him. They'll never be as popular than him. People will never know their name like they know his. And then he's like, oh yeah, no one cares about it.
But does he say no one cares about it? He just said that it's
I think he said no one cares about the opera or the ballet.
Is that what he said?
What did he say?
Jacob?
Okay, he said, I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive even though like no one cares about this anymore. All respect to all the ballet and opera people.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that part. That is a problem. He shouldn't say that nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that little bit.
I think it's mean. I think he is talking down to people that are less fortunate than him but are still in the arts, and like I think he was brought up by a ballerina. Like I think his mom is a ballerina and his sister was in ballet, and like he's kind of just being an asshole, which I think he's just showing his true colors. Like I think he got a little too big for his britches.
Yeah. It's very possible. I will say the thing nobody cares about it. I didn't catch that when he said it. That's actually a problem. He shouldn't say that. I also don't think that he needs to like ballet or opera. I think it's okay to be like, I have a preference for like larger budget like movies. I want to be in, well, he's not like a Marvel guy, but I want to make
Dune.
Yeah, he's like, I want to make really good money and I want high visibility and I want to go down as one of the greats. I kind of liked it when he said that specific thing because it was kind of refreshing because a lot of actors probably think that but can't say it. Like they all want to win an Oscar. I think it's okay to admit that. So I don't know. But yeah, him saying no one cares about the ballet and the opera, he should not have said that.
But like, I don't think he deserved an Oscar for Marty Supreme.
No.
Like, people are mad about it. And like, I don't think he was any better than anyone else would have been in that movie. Honestly. Like, sure, he was like obsessed with ping pong for 10 years. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. It is very, a lot of movies that are Oscar nominated or performances involve a highly peculiar person. Like their isms are very strange. And that is a little less impressive to me than when someone is a little bit more of I don't want to say like normal person, but I just think it's easier to be eccentric and go all out and be like, that was such a good performance, than to be an everyday person and outperform people in that context. That's when it gets impressive to me. Because I don't know, anyone could have a meltdown on camera and pull it off, I guess. I mean, maybe not everyone.
The key
to
winning an Oscar is to be a woman, shave your head, and like cry really hard. You always win.
Emma Stone didn't win for doing that this year.
Anne Hathaway.
But Emma Stone lost for that this
Begonia?
year. For Begonia, she didn't win.
But who won?
Jessie Buckley. She didn't shave her head. She just gave birth in the woods.
She was so much better.
She was great.
Yeah, she was great. That one was, no contest
I'm still
to
crying.
me. I did finally see Hamnet, and it felt like my heart was
she was like visceral acting.
Yeah.
I think if she wasn't up against her. But honestly, I think Jesse Plemons should have won. So he wasn't even nominated for Begonia. He was so good.
He's very good.
Robbed. Those are all my Oscars opinions.
That's great.
Which is like weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, do you have any hot heresy takes?
What did I put? Oh, my hot take is that I hate the sun. Everyone was so happy when it was so sunny this weekend. I hated it. I hate when the sun blinds me every day. It blinded me on the way to here today. It blinds me in my house all the time. I wish it was gloomy every day.
You hate the sun.
I love it. I love gloom. I lived in Arizona. I lived in Florida. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. I hate summer. I was mad that it was so warm this weekend. I was so unbelievably hot. I wanted it to be cold again.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Well, that is a hot take, indeed.
And that's why I live in Minnesota, not Florida.
Yeah.
Among other reasons.
I just have nothing to say to that. I don't like being overheated, but it was like 70 degrees.
Too hot. Too hot. I was too hot all day. I was running around getting ready for my party. But yeah. I'm not sad during the winter. I love it. I love the gloomy.
I do like it too.
I love it.
But a sunny day in between is really nice, I think. But not for you.
No. I hate traveling in the summer. So hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that I do. When I did international travel, I did prefer to do it in the off season because there's parts of the world that I am not accustomed to the heat. And that is a huge adjustment for sure. So
that's my hot take.
I mean,
I know it's a hot take.
I think it's okay. You're not alone. I know people. I will say growing up, I used to be a little bit more like that. I've grown to appreciate summer more. So I do remember really, really hating it. And then I lived in LA and I was like, girl, you got to figure this out. And then I do like it now. But I remember feeling really overstimulated by how hot it was. I felt like I couldn't escape it. Not a lot of places had AC.
Yeah.
So I do get that.
Yeah. Too hot. Anyway,
what
do we have next?
Yes. So we are doing a part 2 on our conversation with Joanna Whaley.
This is the good part.
Yes, we were so excited. So we recorded an entire episode that we needed to break into 2 parts. And so this is the latter part of that conversation. So if it starts kind of clunky, I guess, it's just because we're picking up in the middle of the conversation. But if you haven't listened to our episode from last week, we would highly recommend listening to that first. It's going to provide a lot of context for the rest of the conversation. But with that, I hope you enjoy. You know, something I was thinking about when you were talking about that specifically in relation to when you use the term like, oh, you don't want to go down like the wide path, like the way with Christ is narrow, is the way that a lot of Christian nationalists frame and message Christianity as if it is the courageous, disciplined route, and the way of the world is easy and accessible, and it's the natural flow of things, as if coming out as a trans person isn't one of the most courageous things you could ever do.
It is the most narrow path.
Yeah, that is like the Lord's work. And I think that also about when they talked about, like, Christian nationalists love to be self-congratulatory about the preservation of the nuclear family, as if they're not promoting things that rip families apart. And it's crazy how they have been able to capitalize on certain language that is utterly deceitful and godless and, dare I say, demonic. I've been using that word a lot lately. I'm trying to bring demonic back.
Oh boy.
But I don't know. I just think about how deceitful that is, because what you are actually walking in right now is the stuff that they were promising would be accessible to you if you were to continue to resist who you really were. And you're actually accessing that right now, when if you had continued down the path of suppressing yourself,
and speaking of that narrow and wide path, like following what is happening with the Republican Party right now and with the Trump administration is a very wide path. It is so easy to walk down that path and just blanket believe anything you're hearing. Remember during COVID, the whole we're not sheep conversation, right?
Yes.
Look at what we're dealing with right now in this administration. We're just listening to propaganda and believing it. That is a wide path.
Yeah.
Picking the narrow path, me as a progressive Christian, right? As still a believer, to say, hold on, everyone in my faith system is walking down this path of hatred and bigotry, and they're blanketing it in peace and God's best. But the narrow path here says to love and to care for the orphan and the foreigner. I want to walk down that path. That one seems like it's walking towards destruction.
Yeah.
Right? In the name of Jesus. I believe so many people are following this nation and this president and their party blindly and their pastor blindly into a path where they're going to get to the end of their life and Jesus say, "Depart from me, I do not know you."
Yes.
Come
and
on,
that is
somebody.
a scary
Come on.
thought.
Come on. That, like, I completely agree. And that is one of the things that has absolutely shook me, is how prophetic this diversion between these two Christian groups are. It literally, like, it's giving revelation. It's crazy to see that. And I don't have a traditional eschatological, like, framework for that stuff. I don't believe in that. That being said, I do think that a lot of these apocalyptic literatures reflect the rise and fall of empires, and they symbolically mirror each other. And so I'm able to identify with and find comfort in the work and, like, revelation in Daniel, because there is often this ideological, like, division between groups that can no longer coexist together and pretend that they're under the same framework. And it is wild to me to see, like, oh, I thought, I was told that y'all would be the ones that would be resisting deceit and deception and, like, misinformation, and you are the ones that are, like, bowling headfirst into it. And I think it's tragic. Like, it's heartbreaking, and also it's one of you just don't see that every lifetime.
Yeah,
but we see it in this one.
It's very disillusioning.
Yep. Big bummer.
So how did you, like, what was the breaking point where you're like, it doesn't even matter if I do end up in this horrible butt crack world that this therapist painted for me, I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I'm going to be me. What was the breaking point for you?
It was Trump.
Okay.
It was Trump's first.
Wow. What a prophet. He was my breaking point too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Donald Trump is probably one of the most important figures of my life.
Yeah. Wow.
Because the absolute disdain that man had for Christians.
Wow.
and the way he used Christians.
Mhm.
And I watched people that I pastored for years and years and years fall for that version of his Christian outworking.
Mhm.
That began to tip a lot over for me.
Yeah.
I began to ask a lot of questions. And I remember I was on stage. There was one weekend I was on stage, and in the middle of I'm like talking to this, 1,000 people in a room. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I, I, I don't want to be around you people anymore.
It's real.
Like in the middle of like pads and beautiful music and like God wants to, to save you, blah, blah, blah. I just remember thinking like, I can't subscribe to your version of Christianity anymore. And what began to happen was once the theological domino fell, that I was watching my mentors in faith falling for wild conspiracy theories, I began to ask the question, what in my spirituality, what in my Christian faith had I been taught was the gospel truth, which is absolute bullshit. And when I started asking those questions, the gender question came up again. And that's when I began to really wrestle with it. And it was really hard, right? Because I am like a married pastor with 3 kids. And like now I'm asking these really huge questions. And I began to ask those questions. And I thought I was heading towards my 4th round of conversion therapy. I shopped around for a therapist that I thought was the safest one I could find because I was struggling again with gender stuff, right? And I started asking these questions, and I was in a therapy session, and he said, why are you here? And, you give the whole spiel, and I'm ready for it. Okay, here we go. He's going to pull out the Bible, and he stops me halfway through it. And he says, I need you to know that you're not sitting in a conversion therapy session right now. I was like, ooh. And he said, he's like, I need you to know, I don't think it's a sin to be trans. And I just bawled. I bawled my eyes out. And,
Is that your first time
that was,
hearing that?
yeah, it was the first time I ever heard that. And he said, what name do you want to go by? And so, I'd been kind of like wrestling with that. And I said, I don't know, I'll let you know next week, like that'll be my homework. And I came back and said, I'd like to go by Joanna. And he only called me Joanna from that day. And we theologically found my way out of the closet. But in the middle of all that, I had like made a plan. I had been working with my partner at the time. We were working on like, okay, I'm going to come out, like we're going to separate. It's going to be very like this peaceful process. And in the middle of it, I had been processing all of this in my journal, and someone in my church read my journal that I had left on my desk on accident, read my journal, reported it to the board of directors, and I was fired 3 days later.
Wow.
And so I was thrust out of the closet, not by choice. And so that was how I came out. I was working at a church of like 10,000 people, and all of a sudden I got outed, and it became a huge mess. But I mean, honestly, like as painful as it was, over the next few months of picking up the pieces and getting a new plan and I all the things that I was told in conversion therapy that were going to happen to me, I'm happy to report 0% of those things have happened.
Good.
It's been such an awesome journey to like I wake up in the morning and want to be awake, that's I never experienced that for 34 years. And so yeah, it's been a beautiful thing, and it was very much a theological journey to find my way out.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
I'm shook. That's such a powerful story. Like, wow. I'm so moved by this right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And I think it can be really hopeless. Like, it's like you give up yeah, I didn't know what I was giving up when I
Mhm.
came out, right? I
Mhm.
didn't realize like the male privilege I was laying down when I came out, right?
Hmm.
But to fight the fights that cis women have been fighting for generations, to be
Mhm.
joining in that journey now is a joy, even though it is frustrating.
Yeah.
And um I don't know, it's a joy and an honor to like be starting to do that in the public space now,
Yeah.
in policy and public work.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
resonate with that. I love womanhood. Like I
Mm.
love being a
Yeah.
woman. It's so beautiful. I feel this unique divine connection to like God that feels like a birthright. And
Mm,
I love that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like I had never thought about that until this moment. Probably because I haven't been asked to like I haven't been forced to like ask questions
Mm.
about even
Yeah.
my own gender identity. But I
Yeah.
love being a woman. There is
Yeah.
something really amazing about that. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, and there's parts of me that like wish,
Hmm.
Mhm.
that I could have experienced that
Yeah.
as a kid and like
Mhm.
growing,
Sure.
but yeah, I'm just like so thankful for it's such a different way to experience the world.
Hmm.
And it's the best way. I think it's better. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
ew,
Hmm.
ew. There's a reason I left their species.
If you were speaking to someone who grew up in the church or like has this mentality like really deep inside of them that we all had as younger people,
Mm.
and they're feeling not at home in their body and they want to explore their gender identity, like what would you say to them to help them feel a little bit more free to ask the questions instead of just the shame that they're probably experiencing? Or what do you wish someone
Yeah.
would have said to you, you know?
Yeah. I I wish that I had not I wish I had listened to the people who were closest to me at the time.
Mm.
This is my experience, right? Sometimes someone's what
Mhm.
is the meme? Don't be your child's first bully. Like
Yeah.
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 sometimes parents aren't the
Right.
safest place, right?
Yeah.
I would say I wish I had listened to the voices that were telling me it's okay.
Hmm.
Um, I wish I had listened to those voices, because I had those voices
Mhm.
at a young age. Like my mom knew something was going on, right?
Hmm.
But I never listened to that. I listened to the pastors instead.
Yeah.
And I wish that I had just like listened to the voice that was like peaceful,
Mhm.
not the one that was going to wage my heart and my soul into war,
Yeah.
right? I wish I had listened
The
to
still
peace
small
rather than
voice.
war.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, and I wish that and that's why it's so important for me at this stage. There's many reasons I'm running for office, but I wish I had seen someone who was how I felt on the inside doing something that I could see,
Mhm.
Hmm.
right? Like, I wish that my elected official was
Yeah.
a like, I
Yeah.
wish I saw that. And so, like, these are the things I wish I had. But really, I just wish I followed peace, and that translates into everything now. Like, I follow that peace at this point in my life,
Hmm.
because I spent so long not listening to it and trying to tell other people not to listen to peace, but to follow like my doctrine for
Hmm.
you. Follow the pastor's doctrine, and it's not going to be easy, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Hmm.
we would preach the yoke is easy, but the burden is light,
Yeah.
but we would say that, but like, but it's also going to really suck for you.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. And that
you
inner
know,
struggle you're feeling, which is actually your intuition and your inner spirit, like it's lying, it's your flesh or your sin nature lying to you. And
yeah,
that creates such
exactly.
like internal confusion and dissension
Mhm.
from your own like sense of knowing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And I think that's why we also need people who are theologically trained on the other side of things as
Mhm.
well, to help making public policy, because we have a lot of people who believe in fighting of the flesh, and they want to create law
Hmm.
to make sure that you don't indulge in your sin,
Yeah.
right? We need people who can like be like, hold on a minute, a kid asking about their gender is not like their sin. It is literally them trying to understand themselves.
Mhm.
And here's 6 Bible passages to go with you, Mr. Right wing, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Like we need that. We
Yeah.
need that more than ever right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of one thing I noticed when I was working in politics in Minnesota is how so much like gender affirming care messaging is almost framed just like debauchery. Like it's just overindulgence and self mutilation or mutilation instead of what it is, which is like like so necessary, life saving, harm reduction intervention that is crucial to young kids.
Right.
Like it's a life or death situation. And I think that there's so much framed as the overindulgence of sin. And I don't know, it's so interesting to me when I did comms. So the messaging of this stuff is the thing that I just hyper fixate on, because it's like people I think that they vote on policy, but there's actually a very small number of people who understand policy enough to actually make those decisions. Messaging is the like sword that cuts through it. So it's so powerful.
Yeah, like
how would double-edged sword.
How would you respond to someone who like only sees trans issues as like protecting children?
Yeah.
Or
how do you fight that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a great question. And I would ask them, I think what we lack in our public discourse is asking the second and third question, right? They ask a question, we're like, okay, well, let me get some clarity. What do you mean by protect? What are we protecting them from? They say, well, we want them to follow God's design. Great. Okay. What is God's design, right? What does that mean? Where do you get that from? Blah, 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 right? Oh, I get it from Genesis to, verse blah, 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 blah. God made them male and female. Okay, great. Do you know, like, and then I'll ask another question. Okay, like, now, why is that important for you to follow? Right? Like, I'll just keep asking the questions, because what we find is that we'll hear people say stuff like, I just want to protect the kids. Okay, well, like, when we ask more questions, we can find out where they're getting this. Well, they said on Fox News that they're being cats, that kids are identifying as cats.
they're shitting in litter boxes in public schools.
Okay, we're getting to the source here, right?
Yeah.
Like, what we're getting is we're getting wrong information. So let me tell you some information, right? Like, let me tell you about the percentage of kids who die by suicide because they can't access this care, right? That is actually protecting the kids, and listening to them is actually caring for the family.
Yeah.
It is a moral thing to not put mental injury on our child, right? And they're going to look different ways, right? Like, we're going to believe different things, and you may not walk out of here and be like, let's just like transition all the kids when they're little. Like, you're not going to walk out here thinking, but here's the thing. We also need to understand that, like, some of the things you've heard are not necessarily true. And I want you to hear, I hear you. I also want to protect the kids.
Yeah.
And I have kids myself. And I would be pissed if somebody took my kid into a room and said, are you sure you're a girl? I'd be pissed about that, right? You let my child make that decision. But if they make that decision, we have to support that child. We're going to support them. And so, like, I find asking more questions, and like, I always frame it like, hey, you may not agree with me by the end of this, but what's going to happen is we're going to talk about this, and we're going to try to understand one another, right? I know everything they're going to say. Like, I've learned all of it.
I'm sure.
But I find asking more questions, finding the root of the question, finding the root of what they're concerned about, right? And finding out, where are you getting that? Who told you that? Right? Who told you that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my uncle knows that their school, their school in Florida, they got litter boxes. Do you know what the litter boxes are for? You might be right. There's litter boxes. Do you know what they're for? What are they for? They're for when there's school shootings and kids have to go to the bathroom so they don't flush the toilets.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the litter boxes are for. It's not for kids showing up as cats. Right?
Also, what is the cat thing with how is that related?
I think that like there's this and correct me if I'm wrong, like an argument that, oh, if we let kids identify as the gender they weren't assigned at birth, then they'll identify as anything, like cats. And there's some public schools that are letting kids use like litter boxes to affirm their identity as cats.
Right.
So it's
Which
this fear
ran on
mongering.
Fox News.
Yes.
They like ran it as
Mhm.
fact, and now all these people started believing it, right?
Yeah.
And
But
it's
I
just
mean,
not like
even
the
if
litter
that's happening, who
boxes.
cares?
I mean, I mean, how much time do we
Yeah.
have? Yeah.
How much time do we have?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's really interesting to me because when you know, interrogate that argument and you find out that the reason why there's litter boxes is because of school shooting. I've noticed that a lot of times when you find where like a fear-based argument actually leads and you follow it all the way to the end, you land on an issue that progressive policy would curb. And I remember a lot of legislation out there about like trans people using the bathroom of their choice or public restrooms as their choice. A lot of the argument that I heard from the religious right is, well, what if like a man decides to dress as a woman and goes inside like a restroom to have access to little girls? And I'm like, well, if that was even happening, that's not trans people, that's predatory men finding a loophole to access children. And so we can agree that men will do literally anything, who are predatory, men will do anything to access children. Sounds like we need to work on dismantling patriarchy, but they will do anything but legislate men directly. Like they will scapegoat trans people to protect children from men, but they won't actually.
Also, since when do they care about men hurting children?
They don't. They don't. But it's interesting. I think that they're able to rally
forget
parents.
about the Epstein files.
Oh my gosh! How much time do we have?
Forgotten.
Did you take that? Did you drink that Red Bull you said you were going to?
But the other thing too, right, is like so many people worry about that man who's going to walk into the bathroom, yet we've defunded all of the mental health care that man should have been receiving for years, right? Yeah. We've closed the hospitals. We've allowed the billionaire corporations to consolidate themselves to profit where we don't have a bed for that person to get treatment. So yeah, he may do that because you defunded all the other programs that could have helped this person along the way, right? Like you're right. It's just it is a wild assertion to start blaming trans people. And now there's talks that they're trying to create a trans registry in the federal government by descheduling the hormones, descheduling estradiol for cisgender women, but making biological men who take it stay on a registry. And so that's how they want to get around it. They want to create a trans women registry. And so there's this, there's such a move in our federal government to demonize trans women. And I talk with trans men about this. I actually consult with some trans men. I'm like, how do I talk about this without like pissing off trans guys, right?
Sure.
And they're like, no, you're right. You are so right. Is because what the Republican Party and the Christian right prefer is men. They prefer men. Look at the complementarian theology. Look at, their plans for the home, right? They want men to make more money. And if you leave male identification, you are a loser in their eyes.
That's so interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you become a trans woman, you've given up your power. You're not worth our time. And we want to gift you with your power back, right? And that's where a lot of this comes from. It comes from a deeply rooted patriarchal theology to believe that men are the dominant species in this planet. And I'm going to get in trouble for this, and that's fine. But like, it's the reality, and it's why you go through my social media feeds and every third comment is someone making a comment about that, right? Like it is this country, conservative politics prefers men. and it likes its women to be quiet and in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I just say, screw that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's fight back at every turn on that idea.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild.
What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about trans people?
I'll come from a Christian lens. Um, it- this is not about sexuality.
Mm.
Who we are is not about anything other than feeling comfortable in our skin.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally, like, post transition, you know, we actually are very peaceful. Like, our
Yeah.
spirit is at peace, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I would think the other thing is that there's a belief that it's just following our flesh, and that is the furthest thing from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It I think that there's such a misconception that, like, people have so sexualized trans people, and, like, we're literally just waking up and doing life the exact same as everyone
Yeah.
else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's and actually, I think that it's worth people knowing that, like, when trans folks can freely be themselves, they can actually contribute to society um, in ways that our world needs right now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think that I think about being forced in the closet for so many years. I would have never ever come across, running for office had I
Right.
not, like, been able to freely be myself.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the biggest thing, is, like, not to listen to the scare tactics, like, ask different questions
Yeah.
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah.
That's good.
That is good.
Okay. And one last question. What is one thing you wish evangelicals understood?
I wish evangelicals understood that you don't have to believe everything your pastor says.
Mm.
That your pastor is not the be all end all of the voice of God. You're allowed to question. And if you do question and you're told you're sowing division, it's time to subtract yourself from that environment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Martin Luther put his thesis on the doors of the Catholic Church for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
because the priests were hoarding the spiritual authority,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that I want my Christian friends who have this thing inside their spirit that's saying something is wrong. Something is, the lights are blinking red. I don't know what it is, but I want them to have permission to ask questions of their faith,
Mm-hmm.
and ask questions of, why should I believe this? Ask the questions why.
Yeah.
And I think when you ask those questions, like, I don't know if you knew, but, like, evangelicals, like 80% of them believe in LGBTQ rights. Like,
Yeah.
most evangelicals, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the statistics are wild, like, that they believe in much more, like, liberal leaning policy, but they're forced into compliance by their pastors. So that would be my thing, is to just give yourself permission to ask more questions, and not just full blanket believe everything you hear from the pulpit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question, like, coming from myself. I have my family is very, like, far right, conservative, evangelical. And if I'm being entirely honest, I have really been struggling with resentment and anger towards them. And I feel like I have lost the plot when it comes to how to love them. And it's something that I have been thinking about a lot lately. And so my question to you, if you're willing to put your pastor hat on, is,
Uh-oh.
like, do you have any advice for how to love people like that right now, when there's so much betrayal, I guess?
Yeah. One of the most heartbreaking things that we've watched over the last 10 years is we've watched like really great parents and really great grandparents who can like, bounce our children on their knee and like, teach us how to cook the best chicken and dumpling, like we we've lost the belief that they're good.
Yeah.
And this is where my theology comes into play. This is where I think if we can throw out, and if you're ex-evangelical, right? If you're ex-evangelical, or you are maybe a deconstructed Christian, or you're somebody who's still Christian, like I'm still Christian, I still identify as Christian. My Christianity looks very different. And one of the big things I had to push over was the concept of original sin and the belief that people are inherently bad. And that helps me be able to look at Mima or Nana, who has my kid, right? And who my children adore. And to say like, gosh, like you're a good creation. And there's this system around you that is telling you things, right? To be able to look through those things and to see the goodness in every person is hard work. But I think it's the work we need to do, especially those who are just so pissed off at our parents and our grandparents for just repeating the shit they hear on Tucker Carlson, like just repeating it and not thinking for themselves, to find ways to see their inherent goodness. And yes, even to like find a way to look at Caroline Levitt and wonder where is the goodness in there, like to try and understand and gosh, I don't want to use this, but like, so I tipped over a lot of theological things to get here. One is the concept of personal sin versus systemic sin. To find a way to hate. I'm going to hate that I'm about to say this. Like,
welcome to the club.
You know where this is going.
Yeah.
Like, hate the sin.
Yeah.
Love the sinner.
Hate. I'm going to change it though. Like, hate the action.
Yeah.
Hate the words that are being said. But try to love that person is going to be the hard work that we need to do. So like when I'm standing in front of folks in my community who are going to be screaming at me because I'm a left-leaning trans, snowflake and blah, 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 to just try and find their humanity in the middle of it, just as you're asking them to do. I think modeling the very love and disagreement that we're asking of our loved ones is going to be the most powerful thing we can pull from moving forward. And I think that we have to move beyond this, like, well, our parents are Republicans, so that's it. I think that we're going to have to move past that. And there are times to go no contact. Absolutely. There are times for that, but I think we just have to find ways to see the humanity in one another and not necessarily like, accept everything that the other person is saying.
Yeah.
Just love the fact that your kids love them. Right.
Yeah.
If that's the best thing they do, if everything else is shit,
yeah.
If the food sucks and they won't turn Fox News off, but for 5 minutes they went out and played catch with your kid, love that. And find ways to love in the little things. And we have to remember, and I'm going to use another very churchy term, but repentance comes through what? Through kindness. It doesn't come through yelling. It doesn't come through distance. It comes through kindness. And so we have to find a way to be kind, even if we're getting screamed at. And even if the person votes against our humanity, we've got to find a way to love the little things about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard. It's so hard.
It is hard. And I was thinking about the other day and I was like, what am I feeling right now? And the best way I could describe it is that I'm like, I just miss my mom. Like, I love her so much. And there is a spiritual wall that is tearing us apart right now that is causing me so much grief when, like, my greatest hope in life is for our reconciliation. Like, there's nothing I want more than to be reunited relationally with my mom. And I can't believe that. Like, I feel like Trump took my mom from me. And I'm pissed. And I miss her so much because she is good. And I wouldn't expect people who don't know her to think that, but I know that she's good. And it doesn't feel like that right now. And I'm having to, like, reckon with that. And, like, that is, I think, the spiritual journey I'm on right now is, like, grieving that loss.
Yeah. And I want you to know, and I want people listening to hear that, like, there's so many people that resonate with your story. Like, there's probably people, like, literally crying as they're driving right now. Like, you know, like, I want you to know from the seat that I'm in is that the progressive Christians are coming.
Yeah.
We're coming to the places of power to fight back and to fight for you and to fight for your, this is going to sound like I'm a Republican. We're going to fight for your family. Like, but for real.
Oh my God.
I piss off so many Republicans because I talk about family values.
Yeah.
Family values. We have to fight for our family.
We love
we're
love
coming
the
to fight for
family.
you, though.
Yeah. Yes, we're shielding the family from government overreach.
Yes. I want to fight for your family. I want to fight for a world where you're not so polarized from your mom. That's what I want. And I want for every person in the state of Michigan to know that there are people coming into the halls of power to fight for your family to not be so polarized anymore. We're coming.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
You're such a pastor.
I am simply going to pass away tonight. I just know it. I just peaked.
Let me lay down some pads.
Thank you. Could you oversee my burial, please?
Now, please empty the entire contents of your wallet into the bucket as it comes by.
Oh my goodness, Joanna, this has been a treat. Like, this is so amazing. Like, this is such a blessing. I'm going to talk like an evangelical again and say that I just, I feel the call of God on your life. Like, there is something so divine about you and the work that you're doing. And I cannot wait to see where you go and how you, like, I guess, like, deliver us, really.
Yeah. And I'll have to say this, my campaign manager would destroy me if I went on and didn't say how people can connect with us.
Yes,
right?
That's what I want. Yeah.
I think that it's important, right? Like, because I've been feeling the weight of our campaign, you know, as I talk with queer folks around the state of Michigan who are like, well, I'm not represented. Will you please represent me? And even people across the country who are like, I don't see hope in my state legislature, but maybe we can find some hope somewhere else and watch that spread. Like, if any of this is resonating with you, like, you can go to our website, joannawhaley.com, and go support our campaign. If you can't vote for me, like, vote with $1. Vote with $1,000 if you have 1,000. Yeah, this is a place where you can put in 1,000 votes. And like,
tell all you have and give it to Joanna.
Yes.
Pick up your cross.
Yeah. Give till it hurts.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what the pastors say?
Yeah.
If it doesn't hurt, you're not giving enough.
Yeah.
Give generously.
Yes.
Yeah. And we will include all of these links in our show notes as well.
And we really, like, I'm thankful for the work that you're doing, because you're creating a space for so many folks who have walked away from this place and these spaces that meant so much to them. And to hear like their spiritual journey being talked about, like, it's been really meaningful for me as I'm driving between patients and hospitals. I like put you guys on and like,
oh, really?
And
That's
like,
so nice.
It fills me
and embarrassing.
and I need it. Like, but people need what you're
much.
doing. So keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh,
Well,
Great.
I'm gonna wrap us up with our blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are the listeners, for they shall not be passive in the fight against Christian nationalism. And again, you can support the campaign of Joanna so that she's the first openly transgender woman elected to the Michigan House of Representatives at JoannaWhaley.com. And then we'll put all of her social links in our show notes and socials. And again, you can find us at PraiseBeToPod.com on the web and PraiseBeToPod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. It is finished. Bye. Bye.